Arteta loves Kai Havertz, you know. I mean, he absolutely loves him. And I'm not sure Arsenal fans do. Now, I'm not saying that Arsenal fans don't appreciate him. I'm not saying Arsenal fans aren't starting to really understand what Kai Havertz is bringing to the team. That's partly one of the things I want to discuss in this video today. But Arteta loves him. I want to explore a little bit why. Look at these quotes here from Fabrizio Romano quoting Arteta. I love to see Havertz. He's just a joy to work with. You ask him to play as a centre striker, as a right attacking midfielder, as a left attacking midfielder, on the base defending, and he does it. Yeah, pointing to his versatility. I think that is something we know a tactician like Arteta is going to love. But I think there's something about his character and the willingness to do things for the team that he really loves. I think everyone's tried to explain this Kai Havertz thing. Everyone's tried to explain what it is he does and why he's really good. We are starting to see it, but I don't think everyone's quite clocked it yet. I'm not saying I have, but I want to explore what a lot of people are saying. Let's look at this Raumdeuter word. Some of you might be hearing that for the first time and thinking, what? Other of you might be hearing it and going, yeah, exactly, Raumdeuter. Let's explore it. A Raumdeuter, German word, I think, from German football, speaks of a player whose essentially best work comes from movement off the ball. In fact, here's the exact definition from Football Manager, and I always have to go to Football Manager for this kind of stuff. They say that his main role is to find pockets of space in which to operate, essentially a wide poacher. The Raumdeuter takes up seemingly harmless positions out wide. He waits for the opportune moment to burst through the defensive line for that telling shot or cross. He is difficult for defenders to pick up as he will often drift from his assigned position, looking for any opportunity to exploit. This can result in quiet periods during which he may neglect his defensive duties. Therefore, adequate cover and a strong team shape are key in order to fully utilise his attacking prowess in the final third. The Raumdeuter is only available with an attacking duty. That is the definition if you are to use a Raumdeuter on Football Manager. Now, there are similarities to what Kai Havertz does in that, but there's also some problems as well. So what are the similarities first? So, pockets of space to operate, tick. I agree. He definitely does that, Havertz. He'll sometimes linger to the left. He'll sometimes pick up an advanced 8 position. He'll sometimes drift in as a striker or make runs into the box. I agree with that. Wasting to burst through the defensive line, tick. He definitely does that, Kai Havertz. I think it's fair to say that he is regularly the one bursting through midfield to get into the box. And the third thing is that he can have quiet periods. I agree. There are times in the game where you feel like Kai Havertz isn't particularly involved. So that's all tick, tick, tick. That fits what a Raumdeuter supposedly does. But couple other things that don't really fit. He doesn't play out wide. He's doing this from a central midfield position, not from, a right midfield, a right forward, or a striking position. He isn't neglecting defensive duties. I think that's the one thing he's doing brilliantly, whether you look at the numbers or you leave it purely to the eye test. Kai Havertz is doing his defensive work. There's no question about that. And he isn't there only to be an attacker. Remember that definition at the very end of it said that they've only got an attacking duty and that they basically have to have a good defensive shape around him. Kai Havertz isn't just playing this kind of Raumdeuter role, if you want to use that word, just for Arsenal to benefit from an attacking perspective. They do seem to benefit from a defensive perspective as well. So how does Havertz's role differ? I mean, I've gone through the bullet points there, but let's go into a little bit more detail. For me, Havertz is a central midfielder. When we're defending in a 4-4-2, he's a central midfielder, 6'4", midfielder alongside Rice, who's winning duels and keeping things simple at the base of midfield. But when we have the ball, especially when we're advancing into more attacking areas, he's the one drifting beyond the forward. In more recent case, it's been Trossard, and actually leading the lines that Trossard can come in and play, and you get a little bit more of that false 9. So you're almost getting a false 9 dropping in and a false 8 moving forward. That's kind of the way Arsenal have been working tactically recently. If you look against Burnley, let's look at that Ødegaard goal for a second. When that ball is cut back from Marte to Ødegaard, brilliant pass, by the way, from Martinelli to pick out the captain. Havertz is nowhere near helping Martinelli. Last year, I felt Martinelli down that left-hand side had Zinchenko and Xhaka, the overlapping, underlapping, threading passes through. But now it feels like that left-sided position with Kivior staying a bit deeper. And of course, there's only been a tweak for the last few games. But with Kivior sitting deeper and Havertz really getting into the box, giving Martinelli a lot to do. But the point is they want Kai Havertz in the box, making those runs and being a presence in there. If you look at the goals we scored against West Ham, especially from set pieces, Gabriel and Saliba scored, but right behind us, Havertz to put it in there as well. So it does feel like whenever we're approaching the box, we are targeting Kai Havertz. If you look at the second goal, or the penalty, should I say, Kai Havertz, he doesn't just ghost into the box when Ødegaard threads the ball, he rolls it into, or let's just say touches it into Trossard, who wins the penalty. Havertz is leading the line. It's not a midfield breaking through the lines and getting through. He very much is the highest position. Ødegaard's picked him out, spotted his run, and he's won a penalty, working with Trossard. these feel like, not, like I said, not ghosting into the box. It feels like a very specific striking role he has when we have possession. Now, sure, if you look at the third goal, he does well in build-up. That is kind of midfield play. If you look at the fourth goal, he's actually ghosting in before kind of slightly getting it wrong. A Trossard puts into the back of the net. And then the fifth one, he literally is playing as a striker, right? He runs beyond the defence from a throw-in and scores and does really well with that. So you are getting a range of Kai Havertz in this role. He's not always just waiting up front, you know, for the ball to come to him. He is sometimes dropping deep and getting involved and ghosting into the box. But I do feel like he picks up that central striking position a lot more than I think a typical Raumdeuter might be expected to. Again, any experts, tactical experts who understand that position brilliantly, let me know in the comments below. But that's how it feels to me. Now, we have done a video on this before. We've talked about Kai Havertz as a secret striker, but I'm just trying to understand why Arteta loves him so much. And part of that is the defensive numbers. Here are his defensive stats against Burnley, where he had 18 total duels in the game, ranking first amongst any other player on the pitch, including Burnley players. He ranked first with 12 duels won as well, first for 10 aerial duels, first for 8 aerial duels, actually one of the 10 he competed in, and joint second for fouls won in the game. He puts his body about, and like I said, I've just thrown you some stats there, but go use the eye test. I don't think anyone is questioning whether Havertz is shirking responsibility, maybe in terms of getting the ball in dangerous areas and trying to play and be brave, but I don't think anyone can question defensively. He's putting his body about, he's trying to get stuck in, he's working hard for the team, and that's not just a case of, you know, basically getting stuck in and charging around, you know, like a maniac, just trying to win the ball. I think he's positionally very clever as well. I think Arteta appreciates that as well. So Arteta loves him. Why don't we? You know, when you really think about it, what do you want from a player? When you want them to be a part of a team that's competing for the title, that he's doing that. You want him to be, you know, contributing with some goals. He's doing that at an okay rate. But the big thing is that he's working really hard. And we always like to talk a good game as football fans, don't we? You know, when you're in an Arsenal shirt, when you're wearing the shirt, just give your all for the badge. Havertz is doing that. There might be a lack of conviction in certain stuff. You know, the word shy Havertz has been sort of thrown around. I agree that sometimes it looks like he could do things with a bit more punch and conviction, but I don't think anyone can question that he's working hard and he's trying. So why are we not cutting a bit more slack? And when I say we, look, some definitely are. In fact, quite a lot of Arsenal fans are starting to really buy into the Havertz thing now, and that's great. But again, no one, I think, loves him. No one is like, I love... Not no one. Some certainly will. But you get what I'm all saying, people? You know, he's working hard. He's part of a team that are chasing the title. I think the fear is that ultimately if we don't get over the line, they'll look at the salary, they'll look at the price tag, and unfortunately that just is a part of it. And they'll ultimately go, why did all this go on a player that didn't win us the title when another player could have? But it's all ifs, buts and maybes. I'm not totally sold on this Havertz thing, but I definitely... I'm starting to understand why he's quite liked. Now let's just go back to that at the very end, just to sort of round it all off. One other thing that people have been talking about is the way he is being used as this kind of striker / central midfielder at times, and people are sort of going, you know, it's a very unique role, and even like I said, the term Raumdeuter doesn't really fit it. Well, Pep Guardiola is doing a similar thing with Julian Alvarez right now. Now, Julian Alvarez is different. You can see his quality very visibly. Very good technical player, good finisher. But he's really a striker. But if you look at this, you know, average position map against Chelsea, he's playing much closer to Rodri in central midfield, so that De Bruyne could be closer to Haaland. So there's something in this. We might be seeing a new trend. Strikers that play in midfield at the same time. Who knows? Speaking of the strike hunt, by the way, this is a good opportunity to just remind you of what Team News and Tix said on Twitter the other day. He's always in the know when it comes to, you know, transfers and striker hunts and all sorts and what's going on. Very, very much at the heart of the Declan Rice stuff last summer. Not an official source, but an ITK that's always spot on. And he basically says he actually doesn't expect Ivan Toney to be an Arsenal player next season. I just thought I'd drop that in there because while we're talking about Havertz, a striking role, Julian Alvarez, thought it made sense just to update anyone who hadn't seen it watching this channel that it doesn't look like Ivan Toney will be a striker. I went through the list of players Arsenal could look at and actually said Ivan Toney was perfect for Arsenal, but I don't think Osimhen will be the guy. However, I might be wrong on that. So let's just sum up on the video now. I've got some notes here. Arteta loves Havertz. He's tactically very interesting. He facilitates the movement of Trossard really well, and Arsenal found a good fluidity with those two linking up really nicely. He's working really hard, Kai Havertz, really hard. And again, that's an eye test thing, that's a numbers thing. We're keeping up with Liverpool and City, that's for sure. I mean, the table shows it, we're keeping up with them. Goal difference, points, everything. So should we just all get on board with it? Like, whether he is doing what we want to see from our midfielders or strikers or whatever, should we just get on board with it and just go, all right, like, I don't really see it, but whatever it is you're doing, Arsenal winning and Arteta, loves you to bits and he's playing you all the time. I can't shake this feeling that I'm still not sold on this. I still can't shake this feeling that there were other creative players that could have made a slightly different makeup to our balance and our team and our, the connectivity between players that would have been better. I still think, for example, a James Maddison at 40 million with a Maddison, Rice, Ødegaard midfield would have served us better. But maybe not. Maybe to beat City and Liverpool and Jurgen Klopp and Guardiola, you have to think outside the box. You have to do something tactically a little bit different, and that might be what Kai Havertz is. The one thing that is for sure, Arsenal are competing, which is great. Let's hope this carries on. Let's hope they do that this week in the Champions League against Porto as well. And Arteta loves him. And Arteta's given us reason to trust him. So maybe we just need to get on board with it. And I just want to say a really big thank you for watching this video. If you did enjoy it, actually hit the links right here to watch more content like this, including my Football First podcast, which drops every Monday to Friday at 6 AM. And I know it's annoying, I am really sorry to have to ask, but if you want to show support to the channel, hitting the like and subscribe buttons help promote the content much more than you could possibly know. Thanks again.